Frank Morrison learned that being right and being smart are two different things. Washington, D.C., March 11th, 1968. Saturday afternoon, the Mayflower Hotel, Grand Ballroom, second floor, International Karate Championship Annual Press Conference. 300 journalists packed into rows of chairs facing long press table, white tablecloth, name placards, cluster of microphones in center, NBC cameras, CBS cameras, ABC cameras, all recording live, professional setup, official event, national broadcast. Frank Morrison sits among press corps, 38 years old, 6'3", 260 pounds, Washington Post sports journalist, 15 years covering combat sports, boxing, wrestling, karate tournaments, legitimate credentials, respected in his field, also 4th degree karate black belt, trained since his 20s, competes in veteran divisions, judges local tournaments. He knows martial arts, not just writes about them, practices them. Frank has opinions, strong opinions about what constitutes real martial arts, about effectiveness versus aesthetics, about combat sports versus performance arts. And one opinion towers above others. Kung Fu is not real fighting, it's dancing, beautiful, athletic, impressive to watch, but not practical, not proven, not real. He's written articles about this, editorials, opinion pieces. The martial arts community knows his stance. At the press table sits Bruce Lee. Black turtleneck, calm demeanor. He wasn't originally scheduled. Not tournament competitor, not judge, not official. Added last minute, courtesy invitation. Tournament organizers wanted broader martial arts representation. Bruce teaches in Los Angeles, making reputation. Some of his students competing here. Organizers thought his presence would add prestige, gesture of inclusivity. In front of Bruce, cluster of microphones. 5 different networks. NBC News, CBS News, ABC Sports, Associated Press, United Press International, every major outlet. This press conference being broadcast live, satellite feed to local stations, national sports coverage. What happens here will be seen by millions. Press conference begins normally. Tournament director announces brackets, introduces champions, standard procedure, opens floor for questions, hands go up. Reporters ask about favorites, about rule changes, about international competitors, normal sports journalism. 15 minutes in, Frank Morrison raises his hand. Big man, hard to miss. Gets called, stands, holds notebook like professional journalist. Mr. Lee, Frank says, voice carrying across ballroom. I've covered legitimate martial arts for 10 years. Karate, Judo, Taekwondo. Combat sports with proven effectiveness in competition, regulated, tested, verified, but Kung Fu, he pauses for effect. Kung Fu looks like dancing to me. Theatrical movements, movie choreography, forms that look beautiful but lack practical application. How do you respond to critics who say it's not a real fighting art? Room goes quiet. 300 journalists turn, some uncomfortable. This is confrontational. Some interested. This is controversy. Good copy. Television cameras swing toward Bruce. Producers love conflict. Bruce looks at Frank. Calm eyes. No anger. No defensiveness. Just assessment. Says evenly. Kung Fu is broad term. Covers many styles. Some traditional. Some practical. Some designed for performance. Some designed for combat. What I teach is Jeet Kune Do. Not traditional Kung Fu, it's philosophy, way of approaching fighting that absorbs what works from all styles, including karate. Frank isn't satisfied. Says, but have you competed, proven it in tournament, against trained opponents with rules and judges? Bruce says, tournament fighting has rules, street fighting has none. What I teach works where it matters, not where it's measured. Frank smiles. Got him, says. So you admit it's unproven, theoretical, philosophy without evidence. Tournament director tries to intervene. Gentlemen, let's keep questions focused on championship. Frank talks over him, says, Mr. Lee, would you be willing to demonstrate right here? Show these journalists that Kung Fu is more than dancing. 300 pairs of eyes on Bruce. Cameras recording. Live broadcast. This is moment. Decline and look weak. Accept and risk failure. Bruce says quietly, I can demonstrate principles, but demonstration isn't combat, and press conference isn't dojo. Frank sees opening, sets down notebook, says, I'm 4th degree black belt, 15 years karate training. I'll volunteer, right here, right now. Show everyone whether Kung Fu works against real martial artist. Room erupts, journalists talking, cameras zooming, tournament officials trying to regain control. But Frank is already moving, walking toward press table, confident, certain this is his moment. Prove Kung Fu fake on live television, in front of entire martial arts journalism community. He reaches table, stands opposite Bruce, size difference obvious. Frank towers, outweighs by over 100 pounds, has formal rank, competition experience, everything traditional martial arts values. Bruce sits, small, unranked in karate systems, teaching hybrid style most people never heard of. Frank says loud enough for microphones, stand up. Let's see if your philosophy works when someone actually tests it. Bruce remains seated, says, this isn't appropriate venue, this is press conference, professional event. Frank's face reddens, interprets refusal as fear, as admission. His hand moves, fast, aggressive, reaches across table, grabs Bruce's collar, both hands, tight grip, pulls forward. I said stand up, Frank growls. Show these people your Kung Fu dancing. The ballroom freezes, 300 journalists staring, 5 television cameras recording. This is assault, on camera, during live broadcast. Frank Morrison, respected journalist, 4th degree black belt, just physically attacked guest panelist on national television. Bruce's expression doesn't change. Calm, focused, his hands come up, not defensive, precise, clinical. Second one. Bruce's left hand intercepts Frank's right wrist. Specific grip, pressure point between bones. Frank's grip weakens involuntarily. Neurological response, can't maintain hold. Second 2. Bruce's right hand strikes Frank's inner elbow. Not hard, precise, hyperextension point. Frank's arm structure collapses. Second grab fails. Second 3. Frank tries to pull back, reset, but Bruce's left hand shifts, traps Frank's wrist. Wing Chun technique. Frank yanks, can't free himself. Stronger man, can't break grip of smaller man. Physics, leverage, angle. Second 4. Bruce stands, still holding Frank's wrist. Now eye level, well, chest level. Bruce is 8 inches shorter, but structure is controlled. Frank's balance compromised. Second 5. Bruce's free hand touches Frank's solar plexus. Light contact, not strike. Warning, showing opening. Frank sees it, realizes, understands, he's completely controlled, in front of everyone. Second 6. Frank tries technique. Karate reverse punch with free hand. Tournament move. Championship technique. Bruce's hand redirects. Minimal motion. Punch goes offline. Hits air. Second 7. Bruce steps inside Frank's structure. Too close for Frank's size advantage to matter. Too close for Frank's reach to help. Close range position where technique beats size. Second 8. Bruce releases Frank's wrist. Steps back. Hands at sides. Done demonstrating. Point made. Second 9. Frank stands there. Free. Unharmed, but completely defeated. In 9 seconds, on live television, in front of 300 professional witnesses, every technique he tried, neutralized. Every advantage he had, irrelevant, proven wrong, publicly, permanently. The ballroom remains silent. 300 journalists processing, camera operators still recording. This is footage, this is story, this is moment that will replay forever. NBC's lead cameraman has perfect angle, captured entire sequence, from collar grab to release. 9 seconds of professional humiliation, already knows this will lead tonight's sports segment. Probably national news, unprecedented footage. Frank Morrison's face is deep red, not from exertion, from shame, from realization. He challenged Bruce to prove Kung Fu wasn't dancing. Bruce proved it decisively. Documented, broadcast, undeniable. Tournament director stands, tries to regain control, says, "I think we should take a break." Bruce says calmly into microphones, "No need for break. I'm happy to answer more questions about tournament, about martial arts philosophy, about anything relevant to today's event." He sits back down, composed, professional, like nothing happened, like he didn't just dismantle fourth-degree black belt in 9 seconds on live television. Frank Morrison doesn't sit, can't, just stands there, then quietly walks back to his seat. Doesn't look at other journalists, doesn't make eye contact, just sits, stares at floor. Rest of press conference continues. Other journalists ask questions about tournament, about brackets. Nobody mentions what just happened. Too raw, too recent. But every camera remains focused on Bruce. This is bigger story than tournament. After press conference ends, Frank Morrison leaves immediately. Doesn't wait, doesn't network. Goes to hotel bar, orders whiskey, sits alone. Fellow karate journalist finds him hour later. Says, "Frank, what were you thinking? Grabbing him on camera?" Frank says quietly, "I was thinking Kung Fu was fake. I was thinking I could prove it. I was thinking my rank and size mattered." Other journalist says, "And now?" Frank says, "Now I know I was wrong about everything." The footage airs that evening. Every network. NBC leads with it. CBS features it. ABC replays slow motion. Sports analysts discuss. Martial arts experts weigh in. Some say Frank was reckless. Some say Bruce showed restraint. All agree footage is remarkable. 9 seconds that changed American perception of martial arts. Frank Morrison's editor calls Sunday morning. Says, "We need to talk about yesterday." Frank knows what's coming. Says, "I'll resign." Editor says, "That's not what I called about. I want you to write it. First-person account. What happened, what you learned. Call it, The Day I Challenged Bruce Lee." Frank writes the article. Honest, humbling, describes his assumptions, his arrogance, his complete misunderstanding of what real martial arts means. Article runs Wednesday, goes national. Wire services pick it up. Becomes one of most read sports pieces of 1968. But Frank's journalism career effectively ends, not from firing, from reputation. He's no longer credible martial arts expert. He's the guy who got shown up on live television. Editors stop assigning him to martial arts events. Within a year, he transitions to general sports coverage. Eventually leaves journalism entirely. Bruce's career takes different trajectory. The footage makes him household name. Television producers see it, film studios see it. Martial artist who can handle confrontation calmly, professionally, effectively, on camera. That's rare, that's valuable. Within months, Bruce gets film offers, television appearances, demonstration requests. Press conference incident becomes launching point. Years later, Frank Morrison is asked about that day. He's retired from journalism, teaching karate at small dojo. Someone asks, "Do you regret it? Challenging Bruce Lee?" Frank says, "Regret? No. It taught me most important lesson of my life. Being good at something doesn't mean you understand everything about it. Having rank doesn't mean you have wisdom, and being physically bigger doesn't mean you're actually superior. I needed that lesson. Just wish I'd learnt it privately instead of in front of 300 people on live television." The footage still exists. NBC archives. Available for licensing, used in documentaries, martial arts retrospectives, Bruce Lee tributes. Those 9 seconds get analyzed, broken down, studied. Martial arts instructors show it to students. Look, this is economy of motion. This is structure. This is what happens when technique meets size, and technique wins. 300 journalists witnessed it. 9 seconds that proved Kung Fu wasn't dancing. Live broadcast that changed one man's career and launched another's. Press conference that became legend. Reminder that sometimes biggest stories aren't the ones you plan to cover. They're the ones you accidentally create by asking wrong question at wrong time to wrong person. Frank Morrison called Kung Fu dancing, then grabbed Bruce Lee to prove it. Every network recorded it, and everyone learned that being right about your opinions and being wrong about your assumptions can happen simultaneously in 9 seconds on live television in front of the whole world.